Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll just be a second as we give everybody a few minutes to filter into the room. If you've been with us now for the last few weeks, hopefully you notice this great new background. That makes my head glow, but I really like it. Okay, hopefully everybody's had a chance to get in. I'm told there is a bit of a delay, so just slowing it down so everybody can come through. And now we'll get this started. So thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm your host, Steve Bassnett, and along with my co-host, Aaron Marsden, I would like to welcome everyone on behalf of CANASA and Security Canada to our weekly online learning session. While many are stuck at home, we thought this would be a good time to deliver some product and service knowledge that will be beneficial when we're all back to work. I'd like to say a special thank you to Salient Systems for their support and sponsoring today's session. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Josh Keaton, Salient Systems Regional Sales Manager for Eastern Canada. Josh has worked in physical security for the past 8 years, selling enterprise video hardware and software solutions throughout the US Northeast and Eastern Canada. Josh earned his MBA from the Simon Business School, and he can be reached at josh.keaton@salientsys.com. We'll also post that at the end of the session. Feel free to type any questions you may have during the session into the chat window, and Josh will respond during the Q&A portion roughly 20 minutes from now. I'll now turn the session over to Josh. Welcome, Josh, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much for CANASA for putting this together because I know we're all trying to stay up and stay busy while this is happening. So thanks so much for joining us, and we get started. So my name is Josh Keaton, and I'm the Regional Sales Manager for Eastern Canada for Salient Systems. Salient's been around for over 20 years, but we've got a new version of our software that came out about 18 months ago called Complete View 2020. And we think that it's a really unique tool that, given the conditions that we're dealing with right now with COVID, I think it makes an even more compelling conversation. So why don't we go ahead and get started. So what is different about Salient? There's a lot of different players in the enterprise VMS space, but there's a couple of things in particular that really help Salient stand out. First and foremost is the way that we're able to scale the solution. So whether it's an SMB application or it's a large defense contractor on the enterprise level, if it's an international client or if it's a client that's just around your corner, we've got a solution that is going to match those needs. The great part about the single pane of glass solution is that regardless if you are the SMB client or the enterprise client, much of the same pane of glass exists. It requires no separate training, and it gives you the bandwidth independence to handle those large deployments if your operations do grow. Fully open architecture is a really important one, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on this when I get into the demo as well. But Salient is unique among the large enterprise VMS providers in that we do have a fully open architecture. So our ability to integrate with the best of breed software is really a key for us and key for our partners. We always want to be in a position where we're giving our partners in the channel and our end users the most leverage they can to get the best and to get the most they can out of their VMS system. So here's a couple examples of the sort of hardware and software that we integrate with, but we have a whole host of other integrations beyond that. We'll speak to that in a little bit. With our new Complete View 2020, as we're going to see in the demo, everything is much easier. So it's not just about the interoperability for the end users. It's easier to service these, it's easier to install them. And our mantra of 3 clicks or less to do most of the functions that are in your system are really important for us as we try and simplify the loads and the difficulties and the complexities that come with large VMS systems. Finally, cost of ownership. Cost, particularly as we're seeing with this COVID crisis, you can have a lot of issues coming up if you have a very expensive software, or it's proprietary software, or if there are hidden costs, right? We want to make sure that folks are staying flexible and that resources are being used in the most efficient way possible. And so that's why we have a really simple and adaptive licensing scheme. When you buy a Salient license, you own it for life. That license will always function. And if there is a requirement to go to a new version or to add additional camera integrations that require a new version, we make it simple and easy to make that happen. So what I want to do now is step inside to the Complete View platform and show off some of the functionality that I think really helps us stand out with that, managing that complexity and dealing with these new situations. So what you'll notice first and foremost is that this camera is popping up very quickly. The images are able to replicate on my screen in a very streamlined fashion. You might imagine this is because I'm hardwired and the server is in the next room over, but I'm actually located in Rochester, New York, just across the lake from Toronto. And this server is in Austin, Texas. And I'm using a wireless server. And what allows me to connect so quickly is dynamic resolution scaling. Dynamic resolution scaling is what you're seeing right here. What it means is our servers process exactly how much data is required to fit on the client screen as shown. So if I were to double click on this image, you'll notice that same tile is now up here in the upper left-hand corner, and we're running at a resolution of 256 by 192. And we're also running at about 1/8 of a megasecond. That's incredible bandwidth savings. As the systems and complexity scale, the benefits are even more pronounced. And what's wonderful about our dynamic resolution scaling is it isn't just a feature that can be used for live, it's also a feature that can be used in archive settings as well. So as we go into these thumbnails, if we want to find out when that vehicle arrived, it's not going to take any time at all for me to pop up a screenshot of all the cameras in the last few hours. And then we can go in and really quickly, seamlessly, and easy find exactly when that vehicle arrived. And we can see it pulling in right there. And now if I wanted to take this piece of video and I wanted to export that out because that was a crucial piece of video, you saw how easy that was just to select it, to put it in the export queue. I'll come up here to the upper right-hand corner, click on that export queue, and then there is the video right there. So once you're here, you can then trim the video on a separate size. You can shrink it down further. You can play it faster. You can always include one of our players, either the 64-32. We've also got an option to zip it up if it's especially large. But the important thing is that dynamic resolution scaling makes those investigations much easier. It allows you to go from camera to camera, server to server, region to region even, in a very, very streamlined fashion. So dynamic resolution scaling is something that we're very excited about as an organization. Something else that's really important is our geo view. So what you're seeing over here is our map feature. And this geo view feature, you'll notice, allows us to connect to cameras that are spaced out in our complex. This is our Austin headquarters right here. Well, there's not too many folks that are in the office, although you'll see some people poking around. These might typically be a little more active. But when these blue areas right here turn red or yellow, that indicates that there's been a motion event. Well, if one of these were to go off, and this was a real-time event, and you wanted to get an image of all the cameras in that area, all you have to do is click once, twice, 3 times, and you've got that brand new view right here. So these custom views and the multiple ways that we enable our clients and our customers to quickly get the cameras that they need is really unique in the industry, and it's something that really helps us stand out. Now, what you're also going to see here is how we have a whole, all the cameras that are in our demo system here in Austin have many different names. Typically, you might not name them what the camera brands are, but that's how we've done it. So for us, it's quite simple for me to come in and type in Samsung and G-S-U-N-G. I'm not sure why it's working. Let me try Bosch. There we go. All our Bosch cameras are right there. If I wanted to select all the Axis cameras, the Axis cameras will all pop up quickly. And again, I can always move all those cameras over and create an instant layout. And again, this is a 20 camera layout essentially that I can build on the fly. So if you had your cameras named as second floor, northeast corner, doors, ingress, egress, you can quickly collect the views that are crucial to you, and you won't have to waste a whole lot of time going in between. So there's a whole category of different features that we've got that make managing the system easy. But we also want to focus on ways that we can manage real-time issues as they come up. So what you'll notice is I have gone on to our Alarm View module. And what the Alarm View module is it's a module that's included at all the different software levels that we offer. And it gives you a real-time sense of the issues that are happening at your facility. So you'll notice how it's happening here in real time. We've got some maps that are associated with cameras. We've got events that are populating here. We've got some windows here for some event detail. So what's happening is as a trigger event is triggered, right? So we have an alarm event or a motion event. You'll see that that motion event will pop up here. It'll also indicate which camera that motion is coming from. At the same time, it's also going to give you a sense of where or which camera it is, allow you to play back that piece of video along with a live view of that same camera. So this is a really powerful tool that I think you might expect to find in a premium version or as an add-on to a lot of other softwares. But with Salient, we try and make the purchasing process very easy, the licensing process very easy. There's 3 different levels of software that we have. We have One, we have Pro, and we have Enterprise. And we can get into that right now, just to give you a sense of the different flavors of the software that we've been looking at. So the One is our standalone SMB deployment. This is a perfect deployment for corner stores, small retailers, barbershops, customers that don't need really complex systems, but they do want to have all the great features and benefits that come with having the complete view system. So that's a great option for those customers. We also have our Pro, which is our standard performance, which includes everything you've seen here, and is what many of our customers will use. So you'll probably typically find yourself quoting Pro licenses the most. And then the Enterprise level is where we put in the sorts of things that large enterprise clients need. So we've got monitor wall features on there. We have an N+1 failover on that as well. And we also include Active Directory support for enterprise level clients. So those are the 3 flavors of software that come with. And through these software edges right here, we're able to take care of most of our clients. So if we go back here and look at some of our hardware, I want to give you a sense of the hardware that Salient uses. So we have Dell servers as an Austin, Texas-based company. We work with another Austin, Texas-based company in Dell, and we have their optimized servers that are preloaded with our software that are specifically built for continuous surveillance duties. So these are more than just the servers you can pick up off the shelf. These are servers that are optimized with our software. They're designed to run dynamic resolution scaling. And that are proven to handle the loads of an enterprise surveillance system. And so as we mentioned, we've got a couple different flavors of those hardware as well if you're not used to Salient and how we operate. So we start off with these Intel NUC type devices here, and we go all the way up to a 4U box capable of having hundreds of terabytes. So and over 96 gig of memory. So it's a system that you can continue stacking, you can continue growing with, and that's part of our value proposition that we've had for quite a while is that great hardware. So what I wanted to get back into is to take a look here at some other features of the software. I know we've had been able to take a gander at a few of them so far, but I did want to take a look at the monitor wall feature as well, just so you can see how that monitor wall feature fits. So if we add the monitor wall feature, you'll see that it is added right down here. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to send to the designated monitor wall, wherever that designation may be it in your SOC or some other location. And from anywhere on your network, you can push video to that display. You can even push one of these modules to that display if you wanted to. So, you know, you're able to mix and match, and you're able to customize your screen in a way that really helps to augment the capabilities of your existing system. The same thing works with these individual layouts as well. So we can pull these individual screens out, and we can keep customizing this as you see fit. Now, this may look a little bit messy, so if you want to go back to the way it was originally set up, and you're back here. So we make it really easy to play around with the program, to set it up in a way that is going to be tailored exactly to your specifications. And if you want to go back and reset it, we make that pretty easy for you here as well. So why don't we go back into our screen here. What I want to do is show off some of the integrations that we've got built in. So here's an example of a door that's in our headquarters. And this is recording live right now. What we want to do is we want to look at all of the prox reader strikes that have occurred at this store today. So we know this is a door that's been enabled with that. We can see that this is one that is integrated with AMAG, for example. AMAG is one of many access control organizations that we integrate with. Theirs, we have a bidirectional integration, and we have bidirectional integrations with a couple different providers, but we also have one directional for many others. And right now, I think we have over 24 access control companies that we have integrations with. So, you know, that's a really exciting part. And it's something that really enables our partners and our end users to take full advantage of the technology around them. So as you can see here, once we've taken out all the continuous recording and left out all the motion events, now we have just these card strikes. And now we can go in and we can see all the staff come in as we're looking for it. And if we want to decide that one of these is one that we want to save, we want to save this video right here. We want to save maybe a snapshot of that. We want to save it and put it somewhere in our file. You know, we're able to do that. We can set this part of our export queue, add that to the export queue, and here we are again. You can see another piece of video has been added to this queue. So lots of different ways that you're able to go in and play back video, and there's many different ways that you can manage those live screens as well. So if I get back in here, this is our geo view. We had talked about that. So I do want to talk about some of the other aspects of the software package. So the Complete View 2020 is the surveillance software that we've been showing off. But I've also got these other different mobile applications and LPR features that are included as well. So the Touch View mobile app is one that can be downloaded onto your iOS and your Android device. And it is, and it's free, right? So there's no additional charge for it, and you can do, you know, basic functions on there that are really useful. You can search for archive data, you can look at your live cameras, and you can change your layouts there. It's a really nice tool. We have an LPR tracker tool as well that we have optimized for a few different LPR cameras. So that's great. And we've got a couple different ones here. Particularly the transaction tracker is a really great one. So this is an integration that goes with various POS softwares, and you can have text readouts on the screen that shows what's being scanned on that unit and other such information. So, you know, those are really, really important for us as we talk about more about our solution. So I want to go back to the software here a little bit and talk a little bit more about our maintenance and health monitoring. So as we go into the software here, I click on this dashboard module. And this dashboard module is going to take me to this area that gives me the basic overview of all the cameras and all the settings that are currently on there. So I can see where all my cameras are. I have a list of all my events here. I can check CPU performance usage. I can even get an indication of how much storage I have on my device. And so you'll notice that these are all based on the cameras that I click here. But in most cases, we're going back, in this case, 41 days. So we know we've got a lot of storage there. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can get the information that you need. And then when you want to push out new versions, we have this maintenance module up here that does some really important work. So you can either assign certain servers to get the upgrade, or you can only upgrade certain devices. And we always give you the option to make that push. You're never required to get the new version. So in that way, we make it really easy and simple to manage these for your clients and indeed for your own technicians to be up to speed and to get certified and trained. So why don't we go towards that end of it? I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the training options that we have for getting you and your technicians up to speed on Complete View. So notice that we've got a 2-day instructor-led course. It says $425. It's actually $295. I think I even mentioned it yesterday. I was going to change that, but I apologize that it's not. But it's $295 until the end of next month to get technicians and to get folks trained on our software. We want to make it easy for folks to take advantage and to use our time wisely while we're keeping our safe distance. So but that's only one of the many ways that we can get you trained on our solution. We've also got 24/7 support. We've got our technicians that are there. And when you are signed up for us, we give you, of course, all the tools and access that you can use to educate yourself and to build systems. So we have a wonderful design tool wizard that I'd be happy to show offline and afterwards to folks who are interested. We've got all the information that you'd need to support your clients. So we've also gotten to the point here where we're talking about our YUPs and our yearly upgrade programs. So as I mentioned in a previous slide, we've got when you buy a license from Salient, your customer owns that license for life. When you purchase an element of hardware from us, so when you buy a server from us with those licenses, you also get 3 years of software upgrades included. So in addition to the warranty. When those software updates are out of a term, you've got some different options you can use, right? You can get a 1-year, 3-year, or 5-year, we call them YUPs, yearly upgrade program. You're not required to use these YUPs. Like I said, your servers and your system and your licenses will still use even when you're not currently in your YUPs. But if they're up to speed, you'll get the newest versions, you'll get the latest software, you'll get the latest camera integrations. And you'll get the next version in analytics integrations that we have as well. So just wanted to make that clear as to how we handle our long-term cost of ownership. And that really is kind of how we really manage that. It's really easy to trade up. It's easy to go from 1 to pro and from 1 to enterprise or from pro to enterprise. And we've always got 24/7 technical support. So we've got between a couple different options. You can have up to 4-hour return, 24-hour service time. We do have advanced replacements if there is ever an issue with our hardware. So we're here to support you as we go off into this new and unclear world that we're in. I don't want to take up too much time because I know we may have some questions and I want to get to any thoughts that you may have, but I just wanted to give you a sense and understanding of who we are as an organization and some of the values that we bring. Because by handing folks and by integrating with the best in breed technology that's out there, whether it's on the analytics side or the access control side, and with some of the features and the ease of use that you've seen, hopefully this might be a solution that you think is right for you and for your customers. And with that, I can take any questions.
Thank you, Josh. That was great. If anyone has any questions, please type them into your Q&A window now. Bear with me while I scroll through here. So question number one, you mentioned open architecture as one of the salient points. Which integrations have you had the most success with?
You know, there have been a couple different integrations that work really well with us. You know, we mentioned some of the analytics that we use, but for example, we've got large deployments right now where we're using AnyVision to do facial recognition, where we've had an organization load their blacklist into the module, and it allows us to quickly get the match down to their loss prevention team when a member of that blacklist comes in. And you know, that retailer has had some incredible responses with that solution. We've also got an integration that's actually built into our new version of Complete View that is with BriefCam as well. So we've got that BriefCam integration built right in. We actually just released that a few days ago. So we're really excited about that. And as I mentioned before, we've got, we've got some, most of the major access control partners that are out there. And some of the technology we're seeing now with the elevated temperature, fever detection, you know, Athena is an organization that we've been integrated with for some time. I know Richard and Todd, who are the folks up in Canada, pretty well. And that's an integration that we've had a lot of success with currently, and we're seeing a lot of interest in because of what's going on. So, you know, those are the sorts of benefits that we've seen and that we've made available to our clients.
Great, thanks, Josh. Next up, how do you update software to the next version, and are there software maintenance agreements?
Yeah, yes, I mentioned that, part of that a little bit ago, but the best way, but we will always push those updates out so long as you're currently within your yearly upgrade plan period. So as I mentioned before, when you purchase hardware from Salient and you buy licenses with that hardware, those licenses will have a standard term of 3 years where you'll get the latest and greatest of our software. And when that period lapses, that period, you're no longer covered. You're not going to be required to buy back into that, right? So if you're running 5.1 right now and 8.x comes out in 2025, well, you're not going to have to pay for the 2 years that you missed. You would only have to pay for the ongoing term. So in that way, we really cut down on the complexity and cut down on the what can sometimes be a serious cost of ownership issues that come with managing a large system. And in terms of upgrading it, it's as easy as going into the maintenance module and pushing it out. And with the help of our technicians or our field sales engineer staff, we're happy to help you get trained and up to speed on how all that works.
Excellent. And let's see, I'm going to see if I can say this without messing it up.
So I was actually going to save you, Steve, there. ONVIF compatibility, yes.
Thank you.
So I mentioned that we've got direct drivers that are written for most cameras, and that open architecture is a big thing for us. We do have ONVIF Profile S support as a part of our Complete View platform. But we've got, and we actually just checked on this because we wanted to make sure we had the right number. We have over 9,000 individual camera models that we have direct drivers written for. So I've got a hardware compatibility list that I can send out to anybody who has questions about if their cameras will work or not. But it'll be quite the feat if you can find a whole bunch of cameras that we don't have integration with, because you know, that being open to the latest and greatest technology in the field is the core of who we are, and that's why we take that so seriously.
Excellent. Getting a question if this session will be available, and I'll answer that one. Yes, as soon as we're done and it's finished recording, we'll send Josh a link. You'll notice on the screen Josh's email there. So if you can reach out to him, I'm sure he'd be able to send you a copy of this presentation when it's all done. Does that sound good, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. That is something that I can definitely make happen, and I think we're going to have a contact list too. Yeah.
Perfect. And just time for one more. What is the annual cost for licenses?
So the annual cost for licenses, well, again, so if we think again about our licensing model, when you buy a license from Salient, you own that license for life. So there's a 3-tier model we mentioned, One, Pro, and Enterprise. These prices are MSRP prices in US dollars. So they are $75 per license for One, $150 for Pro, and $200 for Enterprise. Now, when it comes to the yearly upgrade plan, or what SMAs, as you may hear them referred to with other organizations, when you buy hardware from Salient that includes those licenses, so say you buy a server from us that's got 50 cameras on it, we're going to include the first 3 years of software upgrades with that hardware purchase. So that's going to get you to 3 years on. If you want to buy more after that, you certainly can. We've got a 1, 3, and 5 year opportunity where you can do that. And then again, in that period, you'll be able to upgrade to the new version. But you know, for us, you know, we want to sort of make that cost of ownership really flatlined. Once you get past the year 1 cost, there's not going to be too much going forward, except if you add to your services, or if you need more hardware, then there may be more cost then. But the cost of ownership is quite low. I know that's another question that we had in here, talking about differences between Genetec. That certainly is one of them. It's one of the ones that we talk about a lot, is cost of ownership, overall cost, long-term cost of the solution, 7-year cost, however you want to put it. But those are certainly things that I'd be happy to get into individually after this.
Great, thank you. Just so everybody knows, if we can't get to your question, we will forward them on to Josh, and he'll be able to respond to you directly after this session. That brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining us, and once again, thanks to Josh Keaton and Salient Systems for their support. At the close of this session, thanks. At the close of this session, a link to register for next week's session will pop up. Please be sure to register. We look forward to seeing you next week, and until then, be well.